Deep Threat Sports Network. Kind of a different look we have going on tonight, but welcome in. You just have me tonight. Things are crazy around Deep Threat Sports Network right now. We got guys traveling. We got guys heading out of town for deer season. It is deer season here in Missouri. And hey, I'm about to head out of town too. So we're going to sneak this one in real quick. We promised you we'd be here on Thursday night. I'm going to run down real quick. This is going to be a pretty fast one. I'm just going to go over two games for you real quick. Not a real busy or real entertaining slate this weekend for college football, but we do have two games I want to touch on briefly real quick, and then we're going to roll right into our Book It segment. Don't worry, we're not going to leave that behind. Have 8 plays for you tonight. Have talked to Dave and Bryant about these. We all feel good about them. We don't get to have those guys here tonight, but like I said, this is going to be quick, so make sure you're paying attention. We're going to kind of rapid fire these two games, and then we're going to kind of rapid fire these 8 picks for the Book It segment. The first game I want to talk about is Mizzou at South Carolina. That game's at 3:15 on SEC Network. And a couple things that I think both these teams need to do to get this game done. So first, obviously, Mizzou is going to be without Brady Cook again, most likely. Looks like Mookie Cooper also going to be out of this football game. This South Carolina defense, we've talked time and time again on this show, is lethal. These guys can really generate pressure. Kyle Kennard, Stewart, these guys really blow things up. Stewart's probably the best freshman pass rusher I've seen in quite some time. Fantastic athlete for him. What a get for South Carolina and Shane Beamer. Also, this South Carolina offense looks like they can get some things going every once in a while. If they can keep Rocket Sanders going in the right direction, running the football hard, if Lenore Sellers can keep being a real threat running the football, tough task for Mizzou's defense to try to contain both those guys running the football. I do think I am impressed for the most part with Mizzou's defensive performance throughout this whole entire season. Had some question marks coming into the season, and we thought they were going to be their weakest link. And in reality, this offense has been their weakest link for Mizzou. This Mizzou defense looked really, really good, especially in the first half. The poor guys just live on the football field and tire out by the end of the football game. So if this Mizzou offense can convert on some third downs, allow the defense to get some breathers, and Drew Pine, it looks like they kind of took the leash off Drew Pine last week, and he started making some throws down the field. Hell, he was just like, I'm just going to start chucking this thing up. What do I have to lose? What do we have to lose as a team? And you see Theo Weiss make some spectacular plays. You see Luther Burden make some spectacular plays. Mizzou has real, real threats on the outside at the receiver position, even without Mookie Cooper playing. This team is really deep at probably their deepest position is the receiving core. So I do feel good about it. Also, Nate Noel going to play in this football game. Earlier in the week, Nate Noel comes out and says that the guys that are playing have to step up and play big for the guys that are out on the injury list. I really do think Mizzou can come in here to South Carolina and give them a football game. I know South Carolina looks really good right now. Things are trending in the right direction for them. But I do think this will be a really good matchup. Hell, if we were talking 7 weeks ago, nobody in hell thought South Carolina had a chance in this football game. And now you look at a spread of South Carolina minus 14. I don't know if that's really an accurate spread. I think that's probably too generous for South Carolina. And I think Mizzou can probably cover. And that you may hear a play in this football game later in the Book It segment. Mizzou's offensive line has to keep Drew Pine upright. Connor Tollison, star center for Missouri Tigers, looks to be out in this football game, most likely the rest of the season. That is a big loss, especially going up against this South Carolina front. So they could give this offensive line fits. It's all about if Nate Noel can run the ball, allow them to run some run-pass option, allow the play action to work. It all matters when Mizzou's offense is on the field. If they can score some points, I think they can make this a decent football game. Also, South Carolina's offense, like I said, really, really trending in the right direction. So if Mizzou's defense can tighten up and stay playing the way they've played lately, I do think this Mizzou defense can hold South Carolina to a few points. Maybe we see a low-scoring football game in this one. This should be a really good football game, competitive football game for sure, I think. And, hey, MIZ, go Tigers, baby. The next game I want to talk about real quick, Tennessee at Georgia. This is by far the best game on the slate this weekend, by far and away, actually. I mean, if you're going to tune into one football game, make sure it's this one. A lot of SEC playoff implications on this one. This is 6:30 on ABC Saturday night. Primetime football game. When you get back in from your deer stands, you get back in from tracking your deer that you just laid down, Come on in and turn this football game on and crack a cold one with your buddies. This is going to be a banger. Like I said, SEC implications on this one. We just saw the playoff rankings come out. You see Georgia on the outside looking in, which is crazy. I do agree with it, though, at this point. And you see Tennessee in the playoff rankings right now. So this is going to be a really, really good football game. This Tennessee defense is top notch in the country, in my opinion. They are everything you need. They have the pass rush. They have good linebacking core. They have guys in the secondary that can take some playmakers away. And we've talked many a times on this network about how Georgia's receivers really aren't all that impressive right now. And I don't see them getting any better. And we talk about Carson Beck. Not been good. Not been good at all. And I think this is a really poor matchup for him this weekend. I don't think this is the get right game for him. I may come back next week and be wrong, but I truly don't think this is where he figures it all out. I don't think this is where he stops seeing ghosts. I don't think this is where Carson Beck returns to form. And for that reason, I do like Tennessee in this football game. I'm not saying I think Tennessee's going to necessarily win outright, but I do like Tennessee in this football game. You know Kirby Smart's been all in the Dogs' ass this week at practice, making them work their ass off. You have players celebrating with the opposing team after a loss. Like Bryant talked about, Carson Beck laughing at the end of the football game last week after an ass beating. I'm sure Kirby whooped that ass all week long, and he should have them up and ready to go. And this is a home game for Georgia. Now, on the flip side of things, you see Nico, on the injury report all week, I think for a concussion, if I remember correctly. I would imagine he's going to be ready to go in this football game. I would imagine Dylan Sampson, the running back for Tennessee, is going to have a big football game. He is one of the best running backs in the country. If Nico can stay upright and Tennessee's offensive line can keep him on his feet and he can find some time and he can settle down. That's the biggest thing I see with Nico. He needs to settle down. He gets like happy feet, gets too excited when he sees a guy wide open and he short hops him or throws it over his head by 5 yards. This is a big game for Nico. I hope Nico's healthy. I hope Tennessee gives Georgia a football game. And I'm going to say it right now. If Tennessee comes out ahead and wins this football game at Georgia, Georgia's playoff hopes are gone. Done. See you bye. Tennessee's probably in. And wow, what a shakeup that would be in the SEC. Hey, man, I'm going to lean with the Vols on this one. Go Vols. I kind of want to see Georgia be on the outside looking in. I think they've got way too arrogant, way too cocky. I think, like we talked about earlier in the week on our show, I feel like Georgia just sits there and they're like, oh, hey, we're Georgia. We're fine. We're fine. We're Georgia. We're fine. It's time for a reality check. It's time for Kirby to put the big boy pants on and have to really lay into his football team. A lot of off the field issues. And Georgia is not trending in the right direction right now. But hey, it's still Georgia. They may come out and win this game by 20 points. Who knows? I mean, everything is in play in this football game. I could see a blowout either way. I really could. I could see a really low-scoring football game. I could see a team last-second field goal winning it. Really excited for this football game. This is huge for the SEC. Like I said, we're only going to talk about 2 games. If you look at the slate, not a whole lot to talk about. I guess I can briefly throw one at you and talk a little bit about Kansas at BYU. I think that game is at 9:15 at night, and it's at BYU. It's either 9:15, 9, or 9:30. It's a late one, so make sure if you're at Deer Camp, all everybody out there, tune into this one too. Going to be an awesome football game. I don't like the spread. I think it's a little disrespectful to BYU. I know Kansas is trending in the right direction, but man, BYU's been getting it done all year long. And this game is at Provo. We've talked on this network, Provo at night. Good luck to anybody that goes in there. K-State, FAFO earlier in the season. You know what that means for anybody out there. They effed around and found out. And BYU at home, especially at night, good luck to any opponent out there. Rhett's Lab needs to have a good football game, though. There's no doubt about that. Neal and Daniels for Kansas are clicking on all cylinders right now. And if they have a good football game, obviously it could be a good one. I just think this is a disrespectful betting line right now for BYU. Love BYU in this football game. So, hey, now we're going to go ahead and head over to our Book It segment. 8 plays for you. We have 8 plays for you this week. But first, let's talk about last week. Last week, we went 4-4. Man, we are 50-50 balling for the last, I think, 3 or 4 weeks now. We are 57-46 on the season. I will take that every single year. 57-46 is really damn good in my opinion, and I can hang my hat on that. Dave can hang his hat on that, and so can Bryant. I love what we're doing here. We're still keeping our head above water. We're still not going negative. We're still not having losing weeks. So keep following along. I love this shit. I love it. Now, hey, let's book it. First game we're going to talk about, Boston College at SMU. The line is SMU minus 19. First thing I want to talk about, Thomas Castellanos. Hey, he's transferred. Mid-season transfer because he got benched. He's pissed off. He's out. I think this team could be reeling. I think Bill O'Brien could have his work cut out for him in this one. Love Rhett Lashley and the Mustangs. Give me SMU minus 19. Book it. Next game on the docket, Kansas at BYU. Just talked about this game a little bit. BYU is minus 2.5. Just talked about it again. Provo at night. Good luck, Jayhawks. Give me BYU minus 2.5. By the hook, make it 2. BYU minus 2. Book it. Arizona State at Kansas State. The over-under is 50.5 in this football game. Both these offenses average over 31 points per game. I think this is a little low. I'll be honest with you. Give me Arizona State, Kansas State, over 50.5 by the hook. Make it 50. Over 50. Book it. Next game up, Cincy at Iowa State. Another game where we're going to look at the over. The over-under is 53. Both these offenses, again, average around 30 points a football game. I think this might be a little low, too. Iowa State, you saw last week, can give up some points and score some points. Cincy can score some points as well. This Iowa State defense not impressing me anymore at this point in the season. Give me Cincinnati, Iowa State, over 53. Book that shit. Next game, Nebraska at USC. This line is USC minus 7.5. I think that's a little high. Both these teams are struggling lately. I really don't think USC is 8 points better. It looks like Raiola is going to be the go in this football game. I know both these teams are really struggling right now. But like I said, if both teams are struggling, I don't like a team to be favored by 7.5 points when I actually don't know if they're the better football team. USC has all kinds of shit going on right now. Guys transferring left and right, losing some recruits. Lincoln Riley has got all kinds of questions right now. Give me Nebraska plus 7.5 by the hook. Make it Nebraska plus 8. Book it. Mizzou at South Carolina. I'm going to do it again. I said earlier in the season I wasn't going to do this shit no more. But here I go again. Here I go again on my own. Give me the Missouri football Tigers plus 15. The Tigers are going to rip apart the South Carolina Gamecocks. I love Mizzou plus 15. I really do. That's over 2 possessions. Mizzou plus 15. Book it. The last game on the docket that we have for you is a twofer. We got 2 for 1 in this football game. Tennessee plus 10.5 by the hook. Make it 11. You can book it. Tennessee, Georgia, under 49. I think this is a low-scoring football game, and the fact that it is going to be low-scoring, in my opinion, makes me like Tennessee plus 11 even more. You can book these two. Hey, I might even get fancy. I might have a same-game parlay here with Tennessee plus 11 and Tennessee, Georgia, under 49. You can book that shit. Let's guarantee it. Hey, let's have a good week. And for everybody out there that's a deer hunter or going to deer camp, good luck to all you out there. That's what we're all doing. That's why it's going to be dicey around here for Deep Threat Sports Network for a while. Just make sure you're paying attention. We might be dropping some sporadic stuff, might be dropping some shorts just to stay in touch with everybody out there. Hell, may come at you live on Saturday night with a short from deer camp. May not be in good shape. I may be slurring my words. But hey, who knows? If Tennessee wins this football game, I might go live. And you might see some new faces. And I can't wait to do that. But hey, we should have 3 episodes for you next week. We should all be back in the building. We should all be back coming at you live here from Deep Threat Sports Network. College basketball starting up for us here soon. We have hockey that just came out again this week. Hockey has been great. The Crease to Crease podcast with Deep Threat Sports Network is one to make sure that you're getting your hands on. Man, that panel of 4 guys right there is really diving deep into it, and that's some really exciting, good stuff. We have our NASCAR podcast. We're kind of wrapping that up. We have the baseball podcast. We're going to be coming out with some off-season stuff, talking about some free agency, talking about some moves that make sense that we think, talking about some things that we want to see some teams and players do, some off-season contracts. And hey, let's not forget, we're going to dive into your St. Louis Cardinals a little bit. The NFL podcast is full go. Those guys are kicking ass and taking names. Make sure you're following along with us. We're getting our Deep Threat Sports Network tumblers delivered right now. Just dropped one off to our lucky winner, Justin, today. Have dropped one off to our lucky winner, Mikey. Leon's received his. Just got to get our last one out there. So, hey, make sure you guys keep following along. Tons of good stuff coming here. Any questions, comments, concerns, hit us up on our socials. You can follow us on X at DT_sports_, Facebook, Deep Threat Sports Network, TikTok, Deep Threat Sports Network, Instagram, Deep Threat Sports with a Z, YouTube at Deep Threat Sports, Spotify at Deep Threat Sports. Hey, and until next time, peace.